The Melora survey ship drifted in high orbit, its lone communication beacon pulsing. Below Earth, a blue marble laced with white clouds and hidden killers.
Homeworld, if this transmission reaches, you know that we stand at the edge of something unprecedented. The native guide, a human female, refuses protective gear. She will walk into the drone swarm wearing only a thin mesh veil over her face.
Vyra Tan stared at the holographic bioscan. One sting from these bees would flood a Melora body with paralytics, shutting down organs in hours.
You transmitted the risk assessment fully? She must be suicidal.
I sent it. She replied with a grin, said she's been doing this for 22 years, laughed.
The ship began its atmospheric insertion, heat shimmering off the hull as it banked toward the heartland of Iowa. Inside, both scientists sealed their hazmat suits. Gloves, boots, faceplates, every seal triple-checked, every breath filtered.
If the human collapses, we record every moment. The Council will need data to prevent future losses.
The landing struts deployed. Zynves shut his eyes, bracing for a death he was powerless to stop. The ship's ramp lowered with a hydraulic moan, spilling brilliant sunlight into the sterile cabin. Two yellow-suited figures descended into the meadow.
Where is the guide? I see no medical containment unit.
20 meters ahead, a human woman leaned against a fence post. She wore a thin white mesh hat over her tied-back hair, a simple tee and jeans, no armor, no sealed suit.
No protective layers, just fabric over her face. This is madness.
You made it. I was starting to think you'd gotten lost up there. Welcome to Iowa.
Scanner shows no biological shielding, no anomalous energy fields. How is she still breathing?
I'm Karen. I've been keeping bees here since before you two were, well, however you measure age. You've got nothing to fear from me or my girls.
Nothing to fear? A single sting from your girls would liquefy our nervous systems within half a rotation.
Yeah, I read your file. That's why I told them to send you to me. I've never lost a guest yet. Now, shall we? The bees get cranky if I'm late for inspection.
She turned and started toward the white beehive boxes. The Melora scientist exchanged a long, horrified glance, then followed, each step heavy with the certainty of witnessing an imminent death. The apiary spread before them, rows of white boxes humming with life. Karen walked straight into the golden cloud, but the Melora team stopped at their sealed transport, unwilling to take another step. Inside the reinforced cabin, Zynves powered the external cameras. On the screens, Karen was already engulfed, a living haze of bees coating her arms and shoulders.
She's not even flinching. How? How can any organism endure that many stings?
Record everything. Zoom on her face. I want stress indicators, muscular contractions, anything.
The camera zoomed. Karen's expression through the mesh was serene. She lifted the hive lid with bare hands, bees pouring out like liquid gold.
Look at her arms. The drone density is increasing. Her vitals should be crashing, but our remote scanner shows nothing. No spike in distress.
She's speaking to them. Look, her lips are moving. I can't hear. Turn up the audio.
Through the faint buzz, Karen's voice came soft and unhurried. All right, ladies, show me what you've been working on. Let's check the frames. She pulled out a dripping honeycomb frame, bees crawling over her knuckles. The hive hummed around her like a living, breathing creature. In the vehicle, the two aliens sat frozen, their hazmat suits suddenly absurd. They were witnessing something their science had no category for. Karen lifted a frame heavy with capped honey. She angled it toward the sun, and the golden cells glowed. Right there. See her? That's the queen, nice and plump.
She is identifying the alpha drone. There isn't a trace of agitation in her voice.
A bee landed just beneath Karen's jawline. The stinger punched through skin, the barb anchoring. She didn't flinch.
Yeah, that one was rude.
She's responding as if insulted, not injured. Scan her. Full biochemical sweep now.
The remote bioscanner completed its sweep. Holographic text appeared. Subject, human female. Bioscan result, normal human, mild caffeine.
Mild caffeine? That's it? No antivenom, no immunomodulators. This defies everything we know about apian venom.
Another bee stung her forearm as she reached for a second frame. Karen glanced at the embedded barb, then pulled it out with her thumbnail. She didn't stop working.
All right, girl. I felt that one. You're extra spicy today.
Zinves stared at the live feed. His voice dropped to a whisper, the words pulling themselves from a place no field manual had prepared.
We're not seeing immunity. We're seeing dominance. She's psychically suppressing the entire swarm. Record that.
Inside the sealed vehicle, the argument ignited. Zinves replayed the sting footage, frame by frame.
Psychic suppression? This is field biology, not parapsychology. There must be a biochemical tolerance.
Tolerance? To a venom that dissolves our neural sheaths? No grimace. Show me an adaptation that fast.
Vyra Tan pulled up the bioscan, the stark green text still reading normal human, mild caffeine. She tapped it with a gloved finger.
This scan is our only objective data. It shows nothing extraordinary. We are letting fear invent a narrative.
Zinves froze the feed on the sting. The barb embedded deep, skin reddening, yet Karen's face remained placid.
Look at her face. No micro-expressions of pain, no reflexive flinch. The drones obey her.
Zinves had no counter. Vyra Tan's tone shifted from doubt to command.
Then we ask her directly. Bring her into the hold. Let her explain what we recorded.
Through the reinforced glass, Zinves watched Karen approach, still brushing dead bees from her shoulders. The inner hatch cycled. Karen stepped inside, the scent of honey and propolis flooding the sterile space. She sat on an empty crate, utterly at ease.
You were stung twice in full view. How are you not convulsing?
Because they don't want to sting me. Honeybees die when they sting. That's their last resort, not their first.
Then why did they sting you at all?
I probably bumped her or she got caught in my veil. I'm not perfect. Look here.
She held out her forearm. 2 stingers still embedded, surrounded by puffy red skin. She pulled them loose with a pinch, no flinch.
My body got used to this years ago. First season, I swelled up like a balloon. Now it's just a little itch.
That's physiologically impossible for us. You're telling me your species adapts to necrotic venom through repeated exposure?
Karen just shrugged again. The Melora stared at her, their fear now layered with a deeper, unsettled kind of wonder. Karen plucked a stray bee from her collar and held it gently between thumb and forefinger. You still don't get it. Let me show you.
No. Wait, don't. You have no idea how lethal that is to our kind.
Karen pressed the bee against her finger. The stinger sank in smoothly, barb catching under the skin. A collective gasp broke from the 2 scientists, their voices rising in a chaotic fringe of untranslatable alarm.
See? It stings, it dies, I get a little itchy. That's the deal with honeybees.
That amount of venom should have stopped your heart in 12 beats.
Not for me. Not for anyone who's been doing this long enough. Human bodies learn.
Learning implies immunity through controlled exposure over years. Your species can do that?
Yeah, we also eat peppers so hot they'd blister your hide. It's sort of our thing.
The Melora scientists exchanged a look that was no longer just fear. It was the vertigo of standing at the edge of something vast and incomprehensible.
You've seen the danger. Now let me show you the reward.
She led them to a weathered barn. The air inside was thick with the scent of warm wax and wildflowers. A stainless steel drum sat on a wooden stand. Karen lifted a honeycomb frame and slotted it into the extractor.
Go on. Taste it. This is clover honey from the hives you just watched.
Taste? Directly? Without filtration? The venom residue alone could be catastrophic.
It's honey, not venom. Antibacterial, antiseptic. Trust me. I wouldn't offer poison.
Vyra Tan extended a trembling, sealed glove finger. A single amber drop landed, and she brought it to her visor's sampling port.
By the homeworld. It's sublime. There's a complexity like nothing we have synthesized.
This substance is produced by the same creatures that carry lethal venom. Is it possible this planet has engineered symbiosis on a global scale?
Karen just lifted the extractor lid to reveal the golden pool beneath. The aliens stared, their fear now tangled with something sweeter. That night, aboard the Melora ship, Zinves and Vira Tan began parsing the day's data. Bee neural scans, venom toxicity profiles, Earth ecosystem maps.
Mutualism everywhere. Plants that evolve to feed pollinators, predators that protect their prey's offspring. It's a planet built on cooperative signals.
The human didn't suppress the bees with telepathy. She communicated with them through some unknown channel. We saw it.
Unknown channel is not science. We can't put that in our report.
I am the lead. I'll write the report. Preliminary evidence suggests unmeasured biological communication between Earth organisms and the human species.
You'll be ridiculed. And so will I, by association.
Zinves sent the transmission anyway, his report carrying the weight of an assumption no Melora had ever made about a death world.
I hope you're ready for the reaction, Zinves. The homeworld doesn't take kindly to mysticism.
The message traveled faster than light, a seed of controversy heading for a galaxy unprepared for it. In the lab, Viratan exhaled, the hum of the ship the only reply. A solar cycle later, the ship's comm array chimed. The reply from the Melora Science Board had arrived.
Dr. Zinves, your findings have unsettled the board. Still, we authorize controlled field experiments. Prove this unmeasured communication exists. Fail, and this becomes a cautionary tale for every first contact xenobiologist in the Republic.
The hologram flickered out. Zinves stood motionless, the weight of the directive pressing against his ribs.
Controlled experiments with a human who laughs at venom. Delicate indeed.
He activated his recording drone and composed his official reply.
Board acknowledged. We will initiate Phase 2 protocols immediately. The human guide has shown cooperation. We will secure her informed consent and begin neural and behavioral mapping within 2 local rotations.
He ended the recording and sent it, then stared at the sealed lab hatch. Beyond it, a death world waited. He would have to ask Karen for help. The thought alone was terrifying. The Galactic Council chamber was a vast amphitheater, hundreds of species waiting. Speaker Lorne raised a feathered arm for silence.
Delegates, an urgent Melora report. A human female walked into a swarm of Apian-class biological drones wearing only a mesh veil. Observe.
Holographic footage materialized. Karen, calm amid a golden cloud of bees, veil fluttering. Gasps rippled through the chamber. Bees coated her arms. She lifted a honeycomb frame, smiling faintly. A sting landed on her neck. She didn't flinch.
The Melora team suspects an unknown biological communication pathway. They request a multi-species investigation.
Debate exploded. Delegates shouted for quarantine, others for study. Fear and fascination warred openly.
I will not condemn a planet on incomplete data. A fact-finding mission is authorized. All willing species may join the Melora team on Earth.
The gavel struck. The vote carried. Galactic attention shifted toward a small blue world bristling with tiny winged dangers. Aboard the Melora ship, Zinves received the directive. A multi-species delegation was en route. He was to prepare the human for an unprecedented scrutiny. He stared at the blinking message. Asking Karen for help was no longer optional, it was an order. The galaxy pressed down. The Melora shuttle touched down in the same meadow. Zinves walked toward the honey barn alone, orders heavy in his chest. Inside, Karen looked up from a tray of honey jars, her veil draped around her neck. She smiled when she saw him.
Back so soon? You look like a man with a request.
The Galactic Council has ordered experiments. We need your cooperation.
Uh-huh. And what's in it for me?
Zinves hesitated. Karen gestured toward the stacks of unlabeled jars and the Harvest Festival flyer pinned to a beam.
Help me label these jars for tomorrow's fair, and I'm all yours for a week of poking and prodding.
You cannot be serious. We are field biologists, not manual laborers.
Take it or leave it. But that shiny ship of yours doesn't run on good intentions.
A long silence. Then Zinves exhaled and reached for a sheet of labels. The two scientists in full hazmat gear began sticking stickers onto glass jars, honey dripping onto their gloves. The harvest fair was still a day away. Karen led the Melora scientists to the edge of a creek, where a wild honeybee swarm hung from a maple branch like a living fruit.
All right, fellas. Time to see a little magic.
She pulled on her mesh veil, and only the veil. No gloves, no suit. Then she reached up and shook the branch. The swarm dropped in a golden curtain, bees cascading into the open cardboard box at her feet. Within seconds, her arms were coated in crawling bodies.
She's not even suited up. Look at the density. She should be dead.
Her heart rate is steady. No signs of alarm. The drones, they're harmonizing with her movements.
See? They know I mean no harm. Bees can sense fear, but they can also sense trust.
Karen lifted the box, thousands of bees humming contentedly inside, and began walking back to the apiary. The aliens followed at a cautious distance.
This isn't immunity. It's influence. Profound, psychic influence.
By the time they returned to the honey barn, the Melora scientists had stopped trembling. But their eyes held a new light, the terrified reverence of men who had just watched a miracle. Aboard the Melora ship, Zinves and Vera Tan huddled over the swarm footage. On a frozen frame, Karen's calm face peeked through a living blanket of bees.
This is beyond any single species adaptation. She commands them. The swarm moved at her will.
You are letting awe override methodology. Every observation has a biological explanation.
Then explain it. Explain how she shook a branch and the drones fell into formation. They didn't attack, they obeyed.
Zinves pulled up a blank document. The title wrote itself, Addendum Proposed Reclassification, Earth as Coordinated Planetary Intelligence.
You'll be ridiculed. They'll revoke our credentials.
I'd rather be ridiculed than lie. We saw something unprecedented, and I will report it.
He typed, Humanity demonstrates unmeasured biological communication, potentially hive coordination capability. Recommend immediate elevated status. Vira Tan watched, breath held. When Zinves pressed send, the ship's hum seemed to deepen. The addendum shot toward the Galactic Council. There was no taking it back. The multi-species delegation descended on the Iowa Honey Festival like a cloud of nervous first-contact jitters.
Welcome, all of you. Grab a sample and don't worry. My girls are on their best behavior.
Dozens of alien scientists in hazmat suits stood rigidly among laughing human families and picnic tables stacked with honey jars.
There are children here, bare-skinned. Do they not understand the risk?
They have grown up with these creatures. It's part of their culture.
A human toddler toddled past, a bee landing on his cheek. The mother brushed it off gently, laughing.
They treat venomous drones like pets. This planet is horrifying.
Relax. The bees are more interested in the clover than us. Come, try the wildflower honey.
Slowly, a few aliens edged toward the tasting table, fear battling an irresistible curiosity. Karen poured amber sweetness onto tiny spoons, and the tension of a dozen worlds began to dissolve one drop at a time. A child's baseball arsed into a nearby hive. The box toppled, and a furious golden cloud erupted.
The drones are attacking. They'll kill everyone, get back.
Karen and another beekeeper grabbed smokers, puffing white clouds into the swarm.
Everyone walk, don't run. Smoke calms them. They're just protecting their home.
The bees, once a frenzied cloud, began to settle. They clustered on nearby surfaces, their threat replaced by a low, disappointed hum.
Look at them. They're not attacking. They're just confused. Is this normal?
Perfectly normal. The queen is safe. They'll settle once they find her. No psychic powers needed.
She just managed them. without any detectable signal. How?
The delegation gathered, watching humans calmly finish their festival. No one had been seriously stung. The Melora scientists exchanged a glance that spoke of a theory crumbling. The bees were not psychically controlled, they were simply understood. As dusk painted the festival, Karen set up a honey sampling booth. Dozens of tiny jars glowed amber, clover, wildflower, and orange blossom.
This variety, each scent is distinct, layered. Our synthesizers could never replicate this.
Alien scientists, once rigid with terror, now extended trembling gloves to receive drops of liquid gold.
Told you. The bees are just showing off now.
A holographic chime cut through the chatter. Minister Velik's shimmering face materialized above the booth.
We've been monitoring the feed. Is that substance causing no harm?
Minister, it's not just harmless, it's delicious, and the humans have an entire culinary art around it.
A delicious, complex substance from venomous drones. This could be the trade item the Melora world never knew it needed.
That night in the ship, Zin Ves opened a new document, revised report, Human Bee Symbiosis and Cultural Coevolution.
We'll be admitting an overreaction, but the data supports symbiosis, not psychic control. It's the honest path.
The revised Melora transmission arrived at the Galactic Council not as a panic-stricken plea, but as a documentary of coexistence.
Delegates, the Melora science team has withdrawn the psychic control hypothesis. They now present evidence of a simpler, more beautiful truth.
Holographic footage filled the chamber, the Iowa Honey Festival, human children laughing, bees landing on bare skin without a single sting. Then came the swarm capture, the accidental hive toppling, and the calm response, smokers puffing white clouds, bees settling like golden dust. And finally, a sight no Melora ever expected, their own scientists, gloved hands trembling, accepting drops of honey with expressions of delight.
It appears humans do not command these drones. They coexist. Earth is not a hive intelligence, but a world of intricate mutualism.
The fear that had gripped the earlier session dissolved into wonder. Delegates leaned forward, murmuring not in alarm, but in curiosity.
I call for a vote. Shall we lift Earth's dangerous world classification and authorize immediate cultural and trade exchanges?
The vote tally blazed onto the central display, green bar after green bar, the motion passing with overwhelming support. Aboard the Melora ship, Zin Ves and Vyra Tan watched the final tally. Earth was no longer a death world to be feared, but a partner to be understood. The vote had barely closed when a priority holographic link chimed in Karen's honey barn. Minister Velik's grinning face filled the dusty air.
Karen, the Melora homeworld wants your clover honey exclusively. We're prepared to offer a contract that ensures you never have to work another day.
Exclusive deal? You know I don't just sell to anyone who asks, right? My bees have standards.
We'll pay 5 times any local price in stabilized galactic credits, and we'll handle shipping. The first interstellar honey import in history.
Karen tapped her chin, a slow smile spreading. The weight of 22 years of stings and winters lifted slightly.
All right, Minister. You've got yourself a deal. But only if you promise to send pictures of folks enjoying it on your world.
She pressed her thumb to the contract's holo panel. A chime confirmed the universe's strangest trade deal, Karen Harper, intergalactic honey mogul. Days later, a sleek Melora cargo vessel descended to the spaceport. The first pallets of Karen's premium clover honey were ready. Anti-grav loaders hummed as jars glided into the hold. Each one bore a label she had stuck herself, a little piece of Iowa bound for the stars. Karen stood beside the loading ramp, arms covered in remnant bee sting bumps, watching her life's work ascend. For the first time in 2 decades, she allowed herself to think about rest. 3 years later, Karen led a small group of alien journalists through the apiary, her veil resting loose around her neck. She moved with a slower, contented rhythm.
So, you've heard the legend? The telepathic bee queen of Earth?
The journalist scribbled, uncertain. A bee landed on her veil, and she let it crawl over the mesh without breaking stride.
Truth is simpler. Patience, respect, and about 10,000 stings over 2 decades.
She lifted a nearby frame, bees coating her glove. The motion was as fluid as that first inspection, but now the universe understood it.
I'm retiring next month. The bees are in good hands, and thanks to you all, I can afford to stop.
A murmur passed through the group. An alien reporter asked if she would miss it.
Every day. But I've earned these bumps. She held up an arm dotted with pale sting scars. These are my diplomas.
As the journalists departed, Karen stood alone in her apiary. Sunset painted the scene gold. The myth had faded, replaced by a simpler truth. A woman, her bees, and the sweet, stubborn patience that had changed how the stars saw a little blue world. In that final week, Karen walked the apiary rows one last time. She paused at each hive, listening to the inner hum, a melody she knew by heart. She lifted a cover, and the soft roar of the colony washed over her. Bees poured over her hands, greeting her with gentle, crawling familiarity. One bee landed on her lip. She didn't flinch. A faint smile crossed her face, remembering the first sting decades ago.
I thought I was building a business. Turns out I was building a relationship.
The sun sank lower, catching the haze of bee wings and turning the whole apiary into a golden living cloud. She took the smoker, gave a final gentle puff to the quietest hive, an old colony she had raised from a swarm. Then she set the smoker down. The only sound was her footsteps on the gravel as she turned toward the gate. At the gate, she paused. The apiary stretched behind her, a city of white boxes humming with contented life. The galaxy now had honey, but Earth still had its bees, a small, buzzing, resilient wonder that had taught the stars a lesson. Karen unlatched the gate and walked away, the hum fading behind her like a lullaby, as the sun bowed below the horizon. On the Melora homeworld, morning light filtered through translucent walls. A kitchen smelled of clover honey, imported from a planet once feared.
Is this the honey from the human queen?
Yes, from the Queen of Bees. That's what they call her on her world.
The child took a spoonful, eyes widening at the golden sweetness. The myth had traveled across light years, softened into a bedtime tale.
Will I meet her someday?
Maybe. She's retired now, but her bees still work, and we get to enjoy their gift.
The mother spread honey on a slice of warm bread, the amber ribbon catching the morning light. A simple ritual born of a misunderstanding, now a treasure. In that small kitchen, the story of Earth and its bees became a gentle, everyday miracle. And somewhere, on a faraway blue world, Karen sat on her porch, listening to the hum of a new generation of bees. The galaxy had learned to listen, and it tasted sweet.